Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone, wherever you are in the part of the globe. If you are working long shift, showing up for your family, and still feel the need of something more, this life is for you. You are not here by accident. You are here because you want change, growth, and better way to use your time. I see, I see you. I live this too. I work in the healthcare industry and I understand long shifts, the tired days, and a quiet hope that there is another path. This morning is about real people building something extra without leaving their job. We have a step by step training and we need purpose. I am grateful to introduce our presenter today. She is joining us from Melbourne, Australia. She is an associate nurse, nurse unit manager, and a leader in the healthcare, and a woman who understands the pressure of full-time work and family. Please welcome Prissy Bibi. And thank you for being here. Prissy Bibi, can you please introduce yourself and a little bit of your background?
Thank you so much, Riza, for giving me this opportunity here. So, as Riza said, I'm Pracy, and I'm a mom, a wife, and I've got two children here. I live in Melbourne, Australia, basically from India, Kerala, so like which is south of India. I'm here in Australia for the last 15 years, like more than 15 years now. And I work here as an associate nurse unit manager in one of the reputed health organizations here. And I've been doing this digital business for the last 4 years. So that's a little background of myself.
Yeah, I think we're the same year because I'm nearly 4 years also in the business and I
Mhm.
love what I'm doing. That's why I'm here. And nice meeting you here.
Yeah,
And
thank you.
I have a few questions to you.
Mm.
So what was your first step when you started, and how did you stay consistent even if you feel tired or busy?
Yeah, a very good question. I think it's very applicable to me. Yeah, so how I got started is yeah, I had a big why. As I told you, I'm a mom of two children. They're 12 years old and 8 years old now. So you can imagine 4 years before they were very little, and I work in a pediatric ICU. And I was working full time. My husband was working full time. We literally didn't have much time together as a family. We were just like literally we were handing over each our kids to each other and just running away for our jobs. And every time we wanted to go on a holiday or not a big holiday, we didn't have even a vision of having big holidays, it's just going back to our parents or for families back in India. Always we used to pick extra shifts overtime, like that was how it was. Or we got a ticket, then that's an extra shift. So um that was how our lives were running. Okay. And I was also a very active member in the church, and like all those things were there. And so literally we did not have time for our kids. And being a pediatric nurse, I always used to think, I was feeling guilty myself. I'm giving my best to the kids in the hospital, and here my kids are suffering because I don't have time with them. It was a real worry for me. And I see all the as kids grow up, many of them end up having tragic issues. And then the main reason is they don't have their parents, or they don't the parents don't have time with the kids. And this was really getting into my nerves. And and so one day I was just thinking, how is it going to, how is this going ahead? I don't want my kids to be in that position. And I used to talk to my husband about it. We used to discuss about it, but we had no way out. We couldn't even think about something else, because for me, apart from nursing, I knew nothing. Okay, so that was the reality. And I was like, I want to do something, and that's how I was like, one day I had a big issue. Like, you think, as you go up the ladder, I did my master's and everything, and as you go up the ladder, you think things get easier. But no, the stress increases, the accountability increases, it's more workload. Okay, so that's a different story. And I wasn't having a great time at work as well. And at a certain day, I was so upset from my work, and I was sitting in my car, and like after work, and then I just came back, like all the way I was thinking I want to do something different. And I always consider it as a divine intervention, because I wasn't a person who was always on social media or anything. But that day I was like, literally my mind was, not in a stable state, and I was like just scrolling through, and that's how I saw my mentor's video as an ad. And the rest was history, I would say, because I consider that as a divine moment. Because then I haven't turned back. Because so many people tell me, I've seen a lot of videos, a lot of people coming as an ad, in the ads. But I was like, I don't know, maybe I haven't seen it because I was very focused on my career and all those things, that I never looked into all those things before. Okay, but for me, that was one like moment that I went through, and that was my life changing moment. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's how
thank
I
you.
joined. Yeah. And sorry, Risa, your second part of the question, how I stay consistent. Yes, I was
Mm.
busy. I was working full time. It's a real business. Okay. Let's be realistic. Okay. It's a business. Okay. And we need time for our business as well. And I was never a morning person. Okay. So you can imagine, why do I do it? I'm already having a full plate, and how am I going to work on the business? Yes, that was my fear in the beginning. But then I understood, like, as a business, I have to be consistent. I have to have some discipline in my life. And that's how I started becoming a bit more organized and disciplined in my life. And I think, like, that's how I stayed consistent even when things got busy and all those things. That's how even today, that this business has actually taught me how to be more disciplined. I was kind of an organized person when I did, like, started doing my masters, because even in doing the masters, it's not easy without being disciplined in your life. You have a lot of challenges, and you have, especially with two kids, young kids, doing your thesis and everything, it's not easy. So kind of I got that from, from the qualification, like when I was doing my masters. But I continued to be, I would say I continued to be disciplined through this business. And I think that's how I stay consistent. Of course, there are, that's a reality, isn't it? Some days, we have cheat days, but I still enjoy the journey. I'm not stressed about the journey. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you. Yeah, we need to be consistent in the business so that
Mm.
they will know that we running the business. So, global. We're global right now, so we
Yeah.
need to be consistent. If we're not showing up to our business, nobody will come and
Yeah.
change their lives. That's why we're here to help others.
Yeah.
So,
Mm.
um, I have another one. What is the biggest challenges when you start the business and then most of us we don't know how to run business in the digital. We're not
Mm.
savvy. So
Mm.
what is the challenges you encountered when you start the business?
Yeah. Yeah, thanks, Teresa. That's a good question. Because, yeah, as I told you before, I am a nurse by profession. Literally, that's my background. So, I had nothing to do with the digital world. Okay. So, it was Greek and Latin for me. Okay. But, thanks to our, founders and our, team, like, our, what is it, our technical team, and also our education team, I would say our training team. Okay, they have beautifully put up a training site for us. Okay, so it's very, I would say it's a world class video based training. Okay, that's what I always mention. Okay, so even a little kid, like a year two kid, can actually navigate through that and do things. Okay, it's that simple. Of course, we don't know the in and outs of it. Okay, and we don't have to know about it. Okay, but we literally have, like, it's like, see, it takes you step by step. Okay, it's a step by step guidance, and that's the beauty, and that's the reason I'm here today. Okay, because literally I had no marketing skills, I had no computer skills, I'm not a techie person at all, nothing to do. And even I was like, I'm a like, I consider myself a positive person, but there are things like, like business was never in my mind. Okay, so that business or entrepreneur mindset was not at all there in my mind. I always had an employer mindset. Okay, so that was a big challenge, I would say. That was a big shift for me. Okay, so to get that realization, and I'm sure that is the beauty, that our community, like, we have a global community that is helping us with that. Okay, so definitely, being in a like-minded community really helps with that. Okay, like-minded business owners around the world, I consider, like, that's the main two things that I would say I'm blessed with. Okay, and in this business, and I'm sure anyone coming into this business, business, like, people all start businesses, but the thing is, whether you are surrounded with the right people makes a lot of difference. Okay, so definitely, we have it all here. Okay, so that's the beauty.
Thank you. Yes, we are grateful that we are in this community because we
Yeah.
get the support that we need. You know, even you don't know anything, then you just
Mm.
suddenly you just show up with to full on knowledge. So
Yeah.
that's why we are happy to share this business. So for me, I am really happy that I have this business. Like you said that for 4 years, I am because it builds my confidence. It builds
Mm.
my aside from financial. So the growth is really important, and I'm so glad I'm here. I have nothing to say more, like more to say because it's already here. Like it all
Mm.
the boxes that I need, it ticks
It's
all,
already.
like I can travel with my business with me. So that's why it's good to share this to those who are looking for additional source of income. So I have last one for some last question for someone watching right now who feels stuck in the routine. What simple action would you ask them to take today?
Okay. Yeah, definitely. You might be thinking, oh, if I take up one more of my, like, one more thing on my plate, like, it's too much for me. But believe me, like, spending just 1 or 2 hours, you can really, bring about a huge change in your life. Small steps every day, like I always say, small steps every day compound to big changes. Okay. Because I thought the same. I wanted to be part time, but never in my life I thought, like, I could get out of that vicious circle. Okay, because I thought, okay, it would just be going, 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 going. But at one point you need to put a stop. Okay, but definitely, we are all worried about, okay, whether we, do we have an option, or do we have a supplemental income that's coming? Okay, definitely today's world, we can't just stop working and just sit at home. Okay, that's not possible. Okay, so with the rising costs, you have a family, you have your kids, their activities there, like, and we have parents back home whom we are supporting. All those things are there, and it's not easy. Okay, like, I do get it, but the thing is, like, think about it. Okay, until you put a stop to that vicious circle, nothing's going to change in your life. Even 5 years ahead of this, 5 years ahead, your life will be the same. So take an action today, okay? And that's going to make in 5 years time, definitely, like, you don't need 5 years, okay? Like I became part-time, like, in 6 months, like, after starting this business, okay? Definitely, because I had a supplemental income that was coming that could compensate for the hours that I am reducing, okay? That was my whole intention. Of course, after that, it's been like a big journey, okay? But the thing is, that was my initial, like, $1,000 a month, okay, and extra, like that was my vision at the moment, okay, at that time, okay? Definitely not now, but yeah, but that was how it was. So yeah, that's my only takeaway message I can give. Like, put a stop to that vicious circle, take an action today. You can contact any one of us, to know how to get started. Okay. And I'm sure this is going to be a life changing opportunity for you.
Yes, thank you. That yes, it's a testimony that the woman that's talking right now, Prissy, she's telling the real story that she have, and she get result. So it's a living proof that this business can be um, running anywhere with a real story, and it's a legitimate business, and we pay taxes, and you don't need to be alone because we're here already. And before I'm going to say thank you to Prissy. I'm going to read the comment here. She just supporting us. Just give a
Yeah.
clap up.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching Pimina Digi World.
Mm.
So thank you for watching, and I think that's all the comment that I have here right
Yeah.
now. So thank you, and those who are watching replay, you can I'm really thankful also, and you can connect with us anytime. If you have any question, you can drop it, and then we will answer your question. And once again, thank you, Sister Prissy, for sharing your heart and your journey. To
Yeah.
everyone
Thank you so
watching,
much.
to
Mm. Thank you so
everyone
much, Lisa.
watching,
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
you heard today, speak to you. Do not ignore it. You do not need to quit your job to start. You start with one decision and small action, one open mind. If you want to see how this work and learn step by step, connect or message us, or you can call Prissy. She put her a number in the bottom. Uh, we will guide you. Your next chapter begin with one choice. You make a decision today, not tomorrow, or you can do it tomorrow when you're ready. So
Mhm.
we are here to guide you all the time, and that's all for today. I hope you have a lovely morning. It's morning in my side, and
Yeah.
see you
Bye bye.
inside.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Riza,
Thank
for giving me this
you.
opportunity. Yeah. Bye bye.
Yeah, yeah.